Well, it's that time of year again.
Flash is back!
Yep, the Flash is back. 806 aired tonight, Impulsive Excessive Disorder. Gonna be reviewing it. Give my opinions about it as well. So if you enjoyed the video, hit the button down below, subscribe if you're new. Let's get right into the video. So it opened up right when season 7 ended. Just before Armageddon, just before all that. It opens up with Barry and Iris's wedding renewal. Not the entire thing, just little clips from it. And then it goes to a new scene with Bart, Barry, and Iris, again, after the wedding renewal. Where Bart said that future Barry and Iris told him about the entire thing in the future. And getting so that no changes happened to the future. Got with the Godspeed War, with them helping it. Godspeed not being a massive threat in the future. No timelines were changed through it. Bart and Nora go back to 2049, and a time wave came through 2049, meaning timeline obviously changed, which I guess it means that it didn't fully set in yet, so Gideon probably didn't notice it, which makes sense if you think about it. And Jay's alive. Now remember, in season 7, Bart said that Godspeed killed Jay in front of him, like what Zoom did to Barry's dad in front of Barry. But in this timeline, Bart actually saved Jay. And, yeah. And Jay says that Bart's going to be a good Flash one day, so Bart's feeling his pressure, from all that. And pretty much stopping the Godspeed War changed a few things, which set this entire episode into motion. Jay mentioned that future Barry and Iris, or their 2049 versions of Barry and Iris, I'm going to say that, 2049 versions of Barry and Iris are on vacation for their wedding renewal anniversary. Why that's a thing, I thought that was only a wedding anniversary, not a wedding renewal anniversary, but whatever. Vow renewal, whatever, same thing. But you guys know what I mean. I guess it works. Jay said that Godspeed did end up coming for him, like going to kill him, and said Bart saved his life, mentioning that he's just like his father and he's going to be a good Flash one day. Jay isn't married to Joanne anymore. Someone named Rose now, after the timeline change, is who Jay's married to, and is Bart and Nora's aunt. So Bart and Nora go to the Flash Museum, and we saw a ton of suits. We saw the season 8 suit from Barry with the gold boots. We saw, I think, Jesse Quick's suit. I couldn't really make it out. It looked like she had a helmet thing that looked like Kid Flash's suit, but it was all red. I'm wondering, maybe that's like a Wally West Flash suit? I have no idea what that was. I have to go back and watch it. And then we saw the Atom suit, like Ray's suit. And then we saw, I want to say it was a comic accurate Firestorm suit. But either way, it was a Firestorm suit. It really did look comic accurate. I think from what I saw, if I remember the comics correctly, it didn't look like that. So, Joanne we learned that she's erased from the timeline. Booster Gold was mentioned in the future newspaper article, like you see right here on screen, hopefully. That he was sent at the White House visit and all that. Joe became chief way earlier when Zoom was around. That's when he became chief, because it mentioned that Zoom attacked CCPD and Joe was the chief at the time, which means, I guess, Singh must have gotten promotion a lot earlier then, which then means Singh knew back in season 2 that Barry was a Flash, because he did tell Barry when Singh became chief that he knew Barry was a Flash. So I'm assuming that Singh told Barry long before season 4 or season 5 finale that Singh was that Singh knew all this time that Barry was Flash. Which really wouldn't have changed anything because I didn't bring him back anyways. Joe was shot at a jewelry store, which is a new timeline change or one of the new ones, when Barry was in a coma, meaning that he wasn't there to save him. Joe didn't die from this. He just got shot. But it was still enough for the entire timeline to change, and it was the main point of it. So Bart and Nora go back to New Year's Eve 2013. Again, this is when Barry's in the coma, just got struck by lightning and all that. Joe and Cecile talk, and Cecile's going through divorce. Is before they started dating. Joe was trying to ask Cecile out, but that whole thing blew up. Eddie appeared. I loved Eddie, so it's great to see him back. I'm not going to talk about other spoilers past this episode, but if you know what they are, you know what I'm talking about. But it was good to see Eddie in this episode, of course. Nora said their names are Nora Moy and Bart Wade. Obviously, they couldn't say Nora West Allen and Bart West Allen because, completely screw everything up. They said they're intern CSIs. I want to feel like that's a tease of something in past Flash season. I can't remember it, though, what it was. I don't remember. Maybe it's a tease of Barry in season 3. That's the only thing I can think of. Barry being a CSI intern when Julian was around. I can't think of anything else. Or maybe he's a CSI intern somewhere else. Or maybe Arrow, the first Arrow episode he appeared in. I don't know. I feel like it's a tease of something related to that. I don't remember what. Bart and Nora know about Eddie sacrificing himself. I'm assuming it's either A in the Flash Museum or Iris and Barry told him. Just like they know about everything else. Bart wanted to use his super speed in the past before Flash was around. Now, the reason why this is bad is because, obviously, if they're not careful, the city isn't used to the Flash. Obviously, he's not around yet. Barry didn't become the Flash yet. He's in a coma. So, if you see two people using super speed, that's going to be something. Unless they're not really careful with it, which, Bart met someone named Avery Ho, which in the comics is a future speedster. And she had all this stuff about time travel and science stuff and all that. Science stuff, that's a good explanation. And she said she's from this future, and Bart, didn't fall for it and said that he actually was. Not as a joke, and then he kind of played it off as a joke because he realized it was a joke. It was a good scene. Nora got notified about the robbery where Joe gets shot, so Bart and Nora go there, but before they actually get there, Joe and Eddie go there. Eddie goes around back, and the one robber is the one idiot who always gets caught. He has no idea what he's doing. He's a complete and utter just idiot, but he's a funny idiot, right? He should make you laugh every episode because he's a freaking idiot. He gets caught every time. And I guess it was his first interaction, I'm assuming, as a robber, because I think Joe said he's never done this before or something. And Nora and Bart slow down time, not as fast as Barry would, which is something that I noticed right away. It's with our Barry now. You see a bullet flying, it's frozen, pretty much. It might move like a centimeter every, millisecond. But with Bart and Nora, you could tell the fastest they could slow down time with. The bullet was moving it was moving as fast as, season 1 Barry or season 2 Barry. When he would slow down time trying to catch a bullet, it would be moving that fast. Meaning they're not as fast as present Barry, or even relatively close to it. So, that's something that I noticed right away that I don't think a lot of people really notice, but it's something that I know. It's just knowing the show as well as I do, because I love this show, so I keep on watching it nonstop. Rewatching all the seasons, that was something I noticed right away. That was season 2 or 3, Barry catching the bullet. The bullet was moving not really that fast, but it was still slowed, obviously. But it wasn't like now, where if Barry catches a bullet, it's frozen. It wasn't that fast. To where Barry or Bart and Nora slowed down time. So, Bart moved Joe just a little bit to the right to save him from getting shot, and the entire timeline blew up, pretty much. Made 100,000 times worse. A metahuman heard what Bart and Nora said about metahumans, the first name drop of a metahuman, and the meta was, the metahuman was Mona Taylor, who in 801, I don't remember any other episodes this was in, she was in the Royal Flush Gang. So the connection was right there, but it's before the Royal Flush Gang were actually, made, or at least fully to what it was. But she's a metahuman, she can read minds, she can talk into people's minds, or was that whole thing. that we saw in 801. Obviously, Barry isn't here to stop him. So, it's up to Bart and Nora now. Nora mentioned that if they moved the bullet, it could have done different things to the timeline. It could have saved it. I guess? What's the difference between moving Joe and moving a bullet? I guess, because I'm glad that they made the timeline just completely go crap itself, because, Barry said several 100,000 times by now, even Jay has said it, that if you change one tiny itty-bitty little thing, the timeline will blow up. It doesn't matter. It's like the butterfly effect. If you ever heard about that, like the guy something in Butterfly, literally in this book, he something in Butterfly and the entire timeline just went to nuts. And he couldn't fix it. So it was like dinosaurs roaming around, and in this year, in this timeline, dinosaurs running around, there were flying cars, everything. It was nuts. But I don't know what book it was, but I read it in school, but like years ago, but it was like the butterfly effect. You change one little thing, everything blows up. So it was interesting. I'm glad we get to see that, because I don't think we've ever seen that on this show. They've always talked about it, but they never actually did it. So point to the writers. The writers did really, really amazing. I saw a lot of people saying that they were worried about this episode with time travel, and I was too. I haven't been on Twitter in a little bit because I don't want to deal with the hate, but the writers did really well this episode. I don't know what it was, but they did really freaking amazing, and I love it. So Mona Taylor, who again is part of Royal Flush Gang in the future, talked to the three people from the Royal Flush Gang. I don't remember the names, but the other three people. And they all have powers that they got from the Product Accelerator. Obviously, we knew that already. And we have the Strength one, the Laser Eyes one. I don't remember what the other one was. If anyone remembers, let me know. I don't remember what her powers were. The blonde one. The blonde girl. Joe, we learned from Eddie, just lost his partner. If you remember season 1, Joe said that his old partner before Eddie died, and the partner before that one, I think, died. I think it was mentioned by Patty Spivot in season 2 that he lost 2 partners, and he just lost another one. And then, obviously, we lost Eddie, and then, So, yeah, he doesn't have a good thing with partners. They all die or leave, so... Yep. Eddie said Bart and Nora are a little weird. Obviously, why wouldn't they be? They're Barry and Iris' kids. Mainly Barry's, because we all know what kind of nerd Barry is. Which is another thing I like about Bart and Nora. You can see a lot of Barry and Iris in them. But, Jordan Fisher and Jessica Parker Kennedy just knock it out of the park playing these two characters. Because they really do resemble Barry and Iris. But especially Barry. You can see the kind of dorkiness that Nora has. And also with Bart, but especially Nora. We saw that in season 5 too, with Nora just being such a dork. Such a nerd. It's funny as hell. I'm not hating on these characters. It's great. I love that they made these characters that way. And they really bring a special aspect to these characters. So it's just great to see. They flash back. Bart and Nora go to Barry's lab where he got struck by lightning. They actually flash back to the pilot, or one of the Arrow episodes where Barry got struck by lightning and all that. And you can see the lightning mark, the striking mark in the lab. And Bart was checking it out. It was pretty cool. The timeline changed with the Royal Flush Gang becoming a thing way earlier. It was in the news, meaning it became way earlier. They had a heist plan for a casino, and the timeline went to hell. Bart said Barry would get it right, and Bart's blaming himself for what happened because everything's different now, and, I think he was worried about Jay. They didn't say that, but I'm assuming he was. And then Bart said he'll never be the Flash. And then Bart goes to see Barry in a coma, and by see, he was at his bedside. Obviously, Barry's asleep. Or whatever you want to call it. Nora went there to try to pep talk Bart, which again, good job. Barry and Iris, you can tell they're their children by that. Just pep talk. So Bart and Nora end up going to see Avery Ho, who I mentioned earlier, to get experience in the time travel thing, and she found out that Bart and Nora have powers, obviously. And Avery didn't entirely believe him, which is good, he shouldn't, but She looked at Nora's wristband with that can project holograms and whatever it's called, to prove that she is from the future, and it worked. Because the technology was obviously way out of that timeline. And then looked at the news report, and the death toll from the robbery that the Royal Flush Gang happened or causes kept rising. But that was the only thing that was rising. So Avery Ho said, you have to let the heist happen, but you can save people at the same time, past time before midnight, before the timeline sets in. Which I guess is how that works. I don't know if that's how it worked before. It probably has, I'm assuming. I just don't remember it. And also, at the same time, whenever Barry time traveled, I mean, he always done it during the day. I think he's only done it like once or twice at night, but it wasn't like major timeline changes. So with Bart and Nora, I mean, it's New Year's Eve, so I guess it was more dangerous that they had to fix it before New Year, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if they entirely explained that, but yeah, they probably will eventually. Who knows if they didn't already, or I might just miss that. So they go, and Fast Tech was teased as well. He's another future speedster like Avery Ho, in the comics at least. The Royal Flush Gang broke into the casino, and Bart and Nora run faster than the speed of sight. Now, we've seen Bart and Nora both do this in the show before. We've also seen Barry do it in season 4. So, this isn't a new thing. Alright, this isn't a new thing. It's still cool to see, but it's not a new thing. They do it to keep themselves hidden and to get people out. Now, so they're using their super speed here. So, in fact, the Flush Gang's acting on. They're catching on to what Bart and Nora are doing. They don't know it's Bart and Nora, but they're catching on to it. And then Bart, dressed up like a manager who works there to try to stop them from killing people because they're about to kill someone. And they end up taking $10 million or something. And then Bart's arm broke, and he said his speed healing will take 3 minutes, and they only have like a minute. So he couldn't really do much, because obviously when you run and you have a broken arm, trust me, I know, it hurts like hell. So you don't really want to be really running when you have a broken arm. Or a broken wrist. So, yeah. So Nora had to do it. She became quote-unquote excessive. If you don't know what that means, excess. Bart is called impulse because he's impulsive. That's why the episode's called Impulsive Excessive Disorder. Impulse and excess. Yeah, you get it. You should get it. That's where the names came from. They mentioned that past seasons. So Bart and Nora see the timeline. Iris met Eddie for the first time. Cecile talked to Joe about what happened earlier in the episode with them. And Joe mentioned that splitting up can be hard. Like, he knows where Cecile's coming from. Talking about his ex-wife, I think it was Francine, who was Iris and Wally's mother, if you forgot. Which I don't know how you would, but, you know. Cecile said she isn't ready to start dating again. Surprise, surprise. Bart and Nora again to the Christmas photo that CCPD took, which was shown at the end of 805, teasing this episode. And then Bart goes see Avery Ho. They kiss and yada yada. Bart promises Avery that he will see her again. Or that she will see him again. So, who knows where that's gonna go? It's gonna be interesting to find out, though. I'm interested to see where Bart takes that, or where the show takes that with Bart. So Bart and Nora go back to 2049, and the interesting thing is that Jay's still alive. I was worried about that. I was so worried that they would kill Jay off in the future again, just because the timeline had changed and all that. But it didn't impact the Godspeed War, so I guess that makes sense. And then Bart and Nora told Jay all about the time travel crap, and Jay jokes that Perry screwed up a lot. Jay mentioned that one time, I think it was the first time he did it, he time traveled to World War II and fought Nazis. Now, the reason that's a big deal is because there was a Flash animated movie, I don't believe it was related to Arrowverse, where Barry went back in time and fought in World War II with a Jay Garrick. Flash and Wonder Woman, all these heroes. Now, I obviously I don't think it's related to that because Jay said he time traveled to that point. But if it was a tease to that, which I wouldn't be surprised, I mean, that's a pretty good tease. Well, I'm not saying it's connected now, but it was also a pretty good Easter egg to that. But also could be teasing Present Earth X with Nazis and Team Flash fighting them because Jay wasn't a part of that. Who knows? But it was a funny moment, and yeah, it was a good tease if it was teasing that. And he said that apparently Jay kept going in and out from the past. He kept on making the same mistakes. It took him a long time to learn it. Joanne is now back. She's no longer gone from the timeline. And Jay tells him that they can always try to make things better no matter what, like Barry did. And then Jay made a joke that he's going to go see President Luthor, as in Lex Luthor. Now, when he said that, my heart started beating so fast. Like, holy shit, like, they messed with the timeline again. And yeah, it was just a joke, so. Because, I mean, in this timeline on Earth Prime at the end of Crisis, if you remember, Lex was getting the whatever award for best person or whatever. That obviously changed, but, And then we go back to present day with future Team Flash and all that. And Caitlin's apparently dating someone named Marcus. Don't know about that. And this is a little bit after where Armageddon ended. Because Barry mentioned that. And then there was a hairbrush. I don't remember whose was on the couch. I don't remember if we saw anyone put it there, if it was just there. But a timeline wave, like, it was evaporating through time. Because a new timeline set in. Meaning the past changed. Meaning, what the frick? What the frack? So that's going to be interesting. Who knows what that's going to lead to. I'm interested. It's obviously someone there. I'm wondering if it was Seal or Frost or Caitlin or Iris. It's obviously one of the girls. And the girls that were there were Cecile, Iris, and Frost. I don't think the others were there. If anything related to that, Iris' time sickness. I know that Eric Wallace, who's the showrunner of The Flash, said that Iris' time sickness will be playing a role this season, I'm pretty sure. More than it already did past Armageddon. So maybe it's that. That, or maybe Cecile and Joe didn't start dating till whenever, so Cecile wasn't living there. Or Frost died or something. What the hell? I don't know. I guess we'll find out later. Hopefully they don't forget about that, because they better not. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I missed something. Like, did I... what? But obviously someone in that group either A, died, or B, isn't there anymore. I would assume it's Cecile or Frost. I can't see it being Iris, unless it is connected to the time sickness thing. Maybe it is. But, yeah. And then they did a cool thing with Barry, where he had everyone connect in a circle, all holding each other, like hands or shoulders, and then Barry ran them all out to a vacation place. We never seen Barry do that, so actually being able to run everyone at once and not one person at a time, being slow as stupidly hell, but, it was cool to see that. So yeah, that was the episode. I wouldn't say it was a 10 out of 10. I'd say it's a 8 or 9 out of 10. It was a pretty good episode. It was a funny episode. It wasn't stupidly funny. It was good writing, which I'm glad, because I was a little bit worried about time travel, obviously, because, yep. So I do think season 8 is going to be a great season. The Flash 807 airs March 22nd or 23rd. I think it was 23rd, because it's Wednesday now. And Superman and Lois doesn't come back for 2 weeks as well, so we have to wait a whole week. Why, CW? Do you hate everyone? I don't know. You make Flash come back for 1 week, and then you're off for 2 weeks. But whatever. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the episode. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.